I do not have anybody raising their hand at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will close public comment and bring it back to the board. We are on to item C. This is the approval of July 23rd, 2020 Board of Directors meeting agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as posted that anybody would like to make at this time? All right, seeing none, looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion from Ms. Keel.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who is the second?
Ann Silver, sorry.
Sorry, Ms. Silver. I have a second from Ms. Silver. I have a motion from Ms. Keel, second from Ms. Silver. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously with all members voting. All right, we are on to item D. This is the approval of the June 25th, 2020 Board of Directors meetings minutes that have been provided to you in your packet by staff. Are there any amendments to the minutes that need to be made or adjustments at this time? All right. Seeing no adjustments or amendments that need to be made to the minutes, looking for a motion to approve.
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Andy.
All right. I have a motion from Mayor Sheevy, second from Andy Chapman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. All right, item E, this is the election of officers. We do this every July, every 2 years. So with that, Mr. Kennedy, will you take us into this item, please?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. Per NRS 244A601 and 605, as Mr. Chair stated, the RSCVA is required in July of numbered years to elect a chair, a vice chair, a secretary, and a treasurer. The process for the position is the same. The floor for nomination. Nomination will be taken, nominations will be closed. If there's a single nominee, it's just a motion. If there are more than one nominee, we'll do a voice vote and tally the vote. Assume we'll start with the chair. The caveat with the chair is it has to be one of the 3 elected officials, but it's voted on by the entire board. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Chairman Lucy.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. At this time, what I'll do is I will open up nominations for the seat of chair for the Reno Sparks Convention Visitors Authority. And it would be my honor to nominate Councilman Ed Lawson as chairman of the RSCVA.
This is Mark. I'll second.
All right. Are there any other nominations for any other seats?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
This is Ann Silver, and I did a little research and noticed that we have not had a woman serve as chair in over 18 years. So I would like to nominate Mayor Hillary Sheevy.
All right. I have a nomination for Mayor Sheevy.
Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
All right. So we have a nomination for Mayor Sheevy and a nomination for Ed Lawson. With that being said, as our legal counsel has pointed out, the way that the chair would go, we will go through a roll call vote for the chair seat. So I don't think I need I do need a motion. Do I, Ben?
No, we're good. So we've got 2 nominations. So now we just do the roll call vote. As the chair, you can call for that.
Okay, thank you. All right. We have nominations for Mayor Sheevy and a nomination for Ed Lawson, Councilman Ed Lawson. I will call, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Chapman?
That's a tough vote off the morning here on a Thursday. Can I just ask a quick question for clarification?
Sure, we can hold for a second. We'll go to discussion.
Do both nominees accept the nomination?
That's a good question, right?
That is a good question.
Yes,
I,
yes, just to make sure.
I would be honored to do it. So thank you. I appreciate the confidence, and it's been a while since we've had a female chair.
It's also been a while since we had someone from Sparks, since 2002. So I'd be honored to be chair also.
All right.
Mhm.
So both nominees have accepted their nominations. So with that, we will go back. Any other further discussion before I call for the roll call vote? No further discussion. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please start the roll call vote over?
Mr. Chapman,
Mayor Sheevy,
Mr. Farahi,
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And being my first board meeting, I just feel I should probably caveat the vote as saying, I have not been in many of these meetings, so I can't speak to, frankly, anyone's strengths or weaknesses as it pertains to the RSCVA per se. But I must say I wouldn't be in this seat currently if I hadn't been appointed to the Airport Authority Board by Mayor CVA and the council, the city council, and as such on this RSCVA board. So as a representative to the airport, Mayor CVA.
all right. Ms. Keels,
Mayor Sheevy.
Mr. Kornstein,
Mayor Sheevy.
Mr. Lawson,
Myself.
Mr. Lucy is
Mayor Sheevy.
Mr. Lucy is Mayor Sheevy.
Mayor Sheevy.
Mayor Sheevy,
And so awkwardly, I will vote for myself.
Ms. Silver,
Mayor Sheevy.
and Mr. Sturbin.
Ed Lawson.
All right. The vote is complete. It's 2-7, Mayor Sheevy.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, Madam Chair. I will now turn the gavel over to you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so excited, and I really appreciate your confidence in me, and we're going to make it a great year. You know, I think we're going to be the biggest little city, and, you know, we're the comeback kid. So I look forward to working with everyone. I'm actually going to request that you finish out the meeting, Mr. Lucy, only because I am on an iPad and it's only giving me so many squares, so I can't see everyone. So to change my computer, I'd have to change over to my other computer. So if you wouldn't mind to finish out the rest of this, and I appreciate all your service, Bob. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Sheevy. I appreciate
Go
it.
girls, go girls. Christina, Jennifer, Shannon, Ann.
We've definitely got the strong girl team now. You guys are in the lead for sure. So congratulations, Mayor Sheevy, and Councilman Lawson. Thank you so much for your continued service. We appreciate your continued diligence, and obviously we continue to serve as an entire region. So with that, we will go and take vice chair. This is also, I believe, Mr. Kennedy, the vice chair also has to be an elected, correct?
No, vice chair can actually be any official. The last time we elected the vice chair, there's a discussion of sort of an automatic succession to chair, but we talked about it 2 years ago that board can't bind a future board, so it always has to be voted on. So being elected, if you want to sort of take that route, but you don't have to.
Okay, so then we were going to open up nominations to the entire board for any of the existing board members to sit as vice chair.
All right, I'd like to make a nomination. So we can nominate anyone, correct?
That's correct.
The seat, okay. I would love to nominate Ann Silver.
Okay, I have a nomination for Ann Silver. Are there any other nominations from the floor for vice chair? All right. Seeing none, I will close the nominations. And with that, I have my single nomination would be for Ann Silver for vice chair of the RSCVA. I will make a motion to elect Ann Silver as the vice chair. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
I have a second for Mr. Korenstein. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Ms. Silver.
Thank you. Unexpected, but I'm honored to serve.
Fantastic. We look forward to both yours and Mayor Sheevy's leadership with our organization. We know both it's going to be in wonderful hands with the two of you at the helm. We are on to our final election of the morning. This is for the secretary and treasurer. This person has usually served as in a dual capacity. We've never had more than one individual do both positions, being that they're very pretty straightforward. But with that, looking for any member of the board can serve as the secretary treasurer. Who I'm looking for a nomination for secretary treasurer. I would nominate Mark Sturbins.
You sure?
I don't know. Are you sure?
No, I'd be more than happy. Thank you for the encouragement.
All right. So I would nominate Mark. Are there any further nominations from anybody? Seeing no further nominations and seeing that the nominee did accept the nomination, I will call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Sturbins, on becoming the next Secretary Treasurer of the Reno Sparks Convention Visitors Authority. All right.
Thank you for the number. Very honored.
Well, we're very happy to have all this board. This is a wonderful organization. I'm ecstatic to have all three of you running the organization. It has been a long time coming that we make these great changes. And I think in the last 5 years, since I've had the opportunity to serve as chair of this board, it has been a great honor and to participate. And we've come a long ways. And I think under the three of yours leadership as our executive team, you will help us move this board and this organization forward, especially amidst all the challenges we have in front of us. But I have the utmost faith in all of you. So congratulations to all three of you, Mayor Sheevy, Chairman Sheevy, or Chairwoman Sheevy, Madam Vice Chair Silver, and Secretary and Treasurer Mr. Sturbins. So with that, we will close item E and we will move on to item F. This is presentations by the Reno Sparks Convention Visitors Authority staff update. So Ms. Cunningham, our interim president and CEO.
Thank you. We've got something we'll be sharing with everyone. There we go. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to draw your attention to the recovery plan, which is on our shared screen. This plan was included in your board packet. There's the two first pages are a summary of the document, and that's what we'll be reviewing quickly this morning. For more detail, you can always reference the full document that follows that. As you know, staff came out with an initial recovery plan that was presented to the board in April. And with everything changing so rapidly, of course, we needed to keep our plan nimble and be quick to make changes. And that's exactly what we've done. We've updated the plan to look forward for the next 6 months. And in the comprehensive plan, it also covers all that has been accomplished. At the top of the page, I've included the mission statement because I think it's very important to keep it in mind. It's very easy during these times to perhaps lose focus and try and be everything to everyone. Our mission to attract overnight visitors through marketing, sales, and facility oversight truly is a main economic driver for the benefit and quality of life for Northern Nevada. As I mentioned, we have accomplished an incredible amount these past 4 months. We don't want to lose our focus or our momentum. The financial policies that were established with the 2015 strategic plan, they remain in place. However, they've been suspended pending an increase in the room tax collections, and we hope to be able to refund them in this fiscal year. At the April board meeting, you may remember that we landed on 2 operational objectives for the organization amid the pandemic. The first was simply keep the organization alive, sustain the organization, and we are achieving that by drastically reducing our expenses and sadly furloughing much of the staff. The second operational objective is to drive future business. And I assure you that we are all focused on future and current business. And this recovery plan highlights some of the activities that are being done to achieve this objective. In fact, we have a really great piece of business that we just booked, and I'm not going to take the thunder away from Mike Larraguetta. I'll let him share it with you in his highlights. The funding priorities on the right side of the page reflect the priorities as budget allows and as we are able to exceed our forecast. And it's been included for the board as just a quick reference, so we all stay on the same page as to what our priorities are when the money allows. In a few minutes, the department heads will touch on the individual priorities for marketing, convention sales, and tourism sales that are outlined in this plan. But before that, I'd like to tell you about a very successful plan that the sales department has come up with, a promotion. Mike Larraguetta briefly mentioned it at the last board meeting. They've created virtual gatherings with our clients across the country as kind of a fun, informative way for our regional salespeople and our salespeople in Reno to connect with our clients. I think everyone has been webinared out. So this is kind of a different take on it. They've been inviting guest speakers to kind of talk to our clients. And it's been an extremely effective outreach and a client engagement tool. So I want to mention that last week, Mayor Sheevy agreed to be our guest at the gathering, and she spoke about leadership in today's times. She was so well received, and her discussion was extremely poignant. At one point, I'm not kidding you, she had everybody in tears. It was a very touching discussion that she had with the group. And you could see on the chat screen that the clients were reaching out to their RSCVA sales managers. And it was amazing to see how engaged the customers were, and just very interesting to see it unfold. I'm really proud of the sales team for coming up and executing this wonderful concept. Before I turn it over to the staff, I'd like to just touch on a few more updates for the board. To begin with, I want to let everyone know that we are very busy working on goal setting and goals that will actually make sense in this new environment. And we hope to have this completed and ready to present to the board at the August board meeting. Regarding USBC, of course, we're all very sad that they made their decision to cancel their open tournament in Reno, but it is understandable. And as a little piece of trivia, I reached out to them, and surprisingly, since they started holding open championships go back to 1901, a few years ago. They have never canceled an open championship with the exception of 1943 to 1945, which was due to World War II. So kind of amazing that our times are as dramatic as they are. With the USBC bowling tournament, we do have 2 more open tournaments and 2 more women's championship tournaments scheduled and contracted for between now and 2026. And I've been in discussion with Chad Murphy, the president of USBC, and he's anxious and willing to talk about Reno and starting negotiations for discussing beyond the year 2026. So that's excellent that he's as eager as we are to start those negotiations. The Regional Air Service Transportation, the Regional Air Service Corporation has been very busy working this past month on an air service agreement with Jet Suite X, or JSX, which is what they're known as now. And this would be for service between Burbank and Reno. Right now, they're looking at an agreement between August 6th and October 26th, 1 round trip per day for 4 days a week. And they operate typically a 30 passenger quasi-private air flight, and they fly in and out of an FBO. This is exciting because they have very ambitious goals for the Reno market. And so hopefully this is just the first step, and this service will continue and they'll be able to bring on additional cities. We launched our ad campaign this week. And what we're doing is deploying digital advertising in the drive markets. The advertising is hyper targeted and can be quickly shifted. And a way to do exactly that, hyper target, is earlier this year, we started working with a very sophisticated service called Arrivalist. And Arrivalist anonymously tracks the location of a user's mobile device. And it's just pulling in big data for them to crunch and analyze. And one of the ways the user's device is triggered, the cell phone is triggered, is by when they enter Washoe County. So we're leveraging that data that we're getting from this Arrivalist, and we're looking at other key travel indicators to determine trends that we can capitalize on, and specifically to identify target regions. So from this data, there's so much information we can get, but 3 key points that we're using right now are visitor origination, where they're coming from, the duration of stay, and repeat visitation. And there's no statistical significance or guessing, or this is real time data showing when guests are coming in to Washoe County area. And just to give you one idea of something that we can abstract from that, we looked at the data from January through June of 2020, and we're seeing that 64% of all arrivals into Washoe County came from California. And we drill down even further. And so you look at January through March 15th, and you'll see that that number was a little lower because, of course, we were getting visitors from other destinations. And then you look at March through June, and we're seeing, of course, the arrivals from California as people are tending more to drive for their vacations or business travel. So we're watching this very closely, and we're responding with using that information to target specific markets. Finally, just to touch on some of the airline updates, Southwest announced that it's going to get back into the Seattle-Reno market. They've not been in that marketplace since 2014. And they're going to do just kind of what they're referring to as a seasonal service starting right now through, I think in 3 days, July 26th through September 6th. And I believe they're just dipping their toe in that water again to see if they can get some momentum from the Seattle Reno market. And of course, they will be flying their jets. So the consumer is they prefer the jet service. JetBlue, you may have heard that they're consolidating their Long Beach and LAX service, and they're moving everything from Long Beach into the LAX market. What this means for Reno is that the daily Long Beach Reno service is now going to be Reno LAX. And there is definitely a silver lining with this, because the Reno LAX service has really good, easy connections on JetBlue that will take passengers to Orlando, to Boston, and also to Austin. So we'll be watching that closely. That will be effective starting October. And finally, Volaris, which has not had service from Guadalajara to Reno since March 30th. They recently announced that they're going to resume service next week on August 3rd, or week after next on August 3rd, between the two markets. It's really encouraging to see some movement in our destination with the airlines. Unless there's any questions at this point, I would like to turn it over to Christina Ernie to start just talking about some of the marketing plans that we have in motion. Okay, Christina, thank you.
All right, thank you. As Jennifer mentioned, these are a few of the key initiatives we're working on in our marketing efforts. We are diligently calling out the new protocols around health and safety, not only for our leisure traveler, but also for meetings and conventions in our facilities. We have done photo shoots and video shoots with models sporting face masks made by local brands, and the models using hand sanitizers produced by our local Reno Sparks Tahoe distilleries. And we're promoting these images throughout our website and our social media channels. Our digital advertising efforts are ramping back up, as Jennifer also mentioned. We are working closely with BVK, our media buying agency, and after our teams collaborated and reviewed our arrivalist data, we came up with a flexible, layered, and an intent-based audience approach. As Jennifer mentioned, arrivalist really gives us a clear picture on who is coming here. And so we have, with the layered approach, we have key markets that we are hitting. They all have great supporting air service, but they are also close enough to where the traveler could drive. Layered on top of that, we are looking at a radius approach to leverage the greater drive market and hitting new areas that we have pinpointed from the data, where we've seen an uptick from those looking to take road trips. This layered radius approach, we are also utilizing to develop our targeting for our email campaigns as well, and doing a segmented and targeted approach to those different layers as well. We are continuing to also work with our travel brand partners and influencers, mostly using content that has already been produced or some of this new mask imagery. But an example of this is last week we launched a partnership with Southwest Airlines and Matador Network. And we are one of only 4 cities that Southwest selected to feature. Denver, Charleston, and Salt Lake are the others. And the key messaging from this campaign was to highlight safety on the airline and in destinations who are taking this very seriously. And so when Southwest took a look at what we were doing, they were really impressed and wanted to feature our destination. We purposefully used previously collected influencer content to feature in this campaign. So when we shared the campaign on Southwest channels, I also shared it with the influencers and asked them to share it on their social channels, which gave us an additional probably over 500,000 impressions, and that was at no charge. The whole campaign was at no charge, and just because of our relationships. So that was very awesome. And next up, I'm going to send it over to Ben, who's going to finish touching on a few more of our marketing and communication strategies.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning, everyone. On the communications front, we continue working with our New York City-based PR agency, Decker Royal, We have a lot of travel content still on hold with some larger publications who put their travel content on hold due to travel restrictions with the virus. So when the time is right, we still have those stories in the hopper. Right now, as we are already, it's July, but pretty much exiting our summer season from a media outlook. We're working on ski messaging and trying to see if there are any relevant packages that we can start promoting. We're hopeful that the fact that masks and gloves are inherent to the ski market, that might be able to open up the travel this winter as we continue promoting that safe and socially responsible travel messaging. Strong focus on outdoor Reno Sparks centric messaging as the lake appears to be doing quite well. Anecdotally, we're also looking for opportunities to bring in travel writers, which is a challenge, of course, with the travel restrictions in place, but definitely using that hook and promoting Reno as the #1 small city in America, which you remember happened about a month ago through bestcities.org. We'll be using that to promote the entire destination, Reno Sparks and Lake Tahoe, for a number of years probably. From the meetings and conventions, travel, trade, and sport events markets, marketing communications continue to send out programming through email. Right now, we're highlighting the virtual events that Jennifer talked about, destination offers, and additional media coverage as well as that health and safety information. And of course, we're staying on top of regional, state, and national COVID-related information. I'm still involved in weekly calls with the government communications professionals throughout the region to discuss the situation here and the protocols that we're all taking throughout the state and Northern Nevada. And of course, we're still analyzing opportunities to support events that are no longer meeting the attendance and room night requirements for our funding programs, looking at sponsorships, and also discussing how we might develop new strategies for special event funding in the future. And for convention sales, Mr. Larragueta.
Thank you, Ben. Good morning, everyone. As Jennifer previously mentioned, the convention sales team continues to focus on its priorities identified in the RSCVA recovery plan. Highlights include extending aggressive concessions and signing bonuses for groups that have sourced Reno Tahoe for their future meetings. We also continue to communicate with clients through virtual site inspections, destination update videos, and as Jennifer, Ben, and I think Christina mentioned as well, our virtual events, which have been a big hit with featuring our local icons. Diving right into the group segment, I wanted to provide you guys the board updates as it relates to our year-ending numbers. Group cancellations through June 30th totaled just north of 163,000, of which 144,000 were directly due to COVID-19. Groups that have postponed their programs and contracted future dates totals just north of 40,000 room nights, with over 90% of that number being contracted in 2021 or beyond. Definite groups that remain on the books for the remainder of this 2020 calendar year totals 24,165. We continue as a team to track the number of active leads and room nights. From March 17th, which is obviously the day that our state was shut down from a gaming perspective, through July 21st, the team has produced 81 new leads, representing 170,000 room nights. Total outstanding leads totals 277 leads for 509,000 room nights. As previously mentioned, and on a positive note, we have 2 in-person site inspections over the next 2 weeks and have 8,000 contracted room nights on the books for the month of July. At this point right now, we're forecasting to finish the month of July at around 15,000 room nights of convention business for future years. As Jennifer kind of mentioned it briefly, it's also, I'm very elated to announce that on Saturday, July 11th, Reno was selected by a unanimous vote as the host city for a 13,000 room night program that will meet in July of 2024. Contracts will be finalized with the host properties in the next 2 weeks and reflected in our August numbers that I will report obviously next month. That concludes my update for the group segment. I now turn it over to Mr. Jimenez for tourism update.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. The tourism sales team continues to concentrate on the following rebound activities: developing OTA joint marketing campaigns, predominantly in our drive markets, and creating GDS messaging, encouraging an extended stay or a return visit. Also, our Paused Expedia spring campaign We launched July 5th our drive markets, and during July 27th through November 5th, we will partner with American Airlines, targeting potential flyers looking for wide open spaces from our key air markets. Our Priceline campaign launched on July 13th, which will run through mid-October. We also continue to fine-tune our direct digital selling process by data mining sites for agents selling our destination and continuing our database cleanup. Since March 17th, we've cleaned up well over 4,000 accounts. And we'll continue to monitor available resources and planning any direct selling programs, such as sales missions or attending trade shows. And additionally, we'll be including Southwest Airlines and Volaris flight details in all of our travel trade communications activity. That's all I have now, and turn the Zoom over to Robert Chisel.
Good morning. In your packet, you'll find May's interim financial report. The budget numbers in the interim reflect the approved budget for fiscal year 2020. Overall, revenues for the month were down 84% from budget and expenditures down 32%. Of more importance is the comparison to the adopted scenario that the board adopted in April in response to the pandemic. So far, revenues have exceeded the adopted scenario, which was scenario F. For April, room tax revenue was 127% of scenario F. In May, room tax revenue was 182% of scenario F. In June, although not yet closed, is projected to be over 200% of scenario F. And while compared to scenario, the revenues are looking good, one needs to put in context of a non-pandemic year. For example, May compared to the scenario is up 182%, but the amount is actually down 80% from last year. The RSCVA continues to hold the line on expenses and continues to work to identify cost savings on an ongoing basis. We're doing continuous review of expenditures. As an example, all invoices are reviewed by the management team weekly prior to payment. I'd also like to update the board on a couple of other items. One, our insurance program. In May, the board approved our insurance program for fiscal year 2021 for a cost of $355,000 with the advice to seek additional savings from the underwriters. Staff worked with our broker and we were able to make additional savings of $32,000 for a total cost of $323,000 to our insurance program. Finally, June 30th marked the end of the fiscal year, and we have begun our work with the external independent auditors, which will be ongoing all the way through November. If there are any questions, staff would be happy to answer them. If not, I would turn this back over to the chair.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for staff at this time?
I do, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Kornstein.
Yeah, so I understand the strong efforts that people are making to create new business. And I see from a different perspective where there are rolling cancellations in conferences, banquets, et cetera, that are being held in Southern Nevada and other jurisdictions. And as we get closer to the fall, anticipate that there will be more cancellations with all the uncertainty revolving around the virus and travel, meeting limitations, et cetera. So I just want to make a suggestion that maybe it's for the August meeting when we go through the new business plan. I think there needs to be a contingency plan where management indicates what yellow flashing lights really get their concern so that we have a plan to implement proactively as we see things that are coming onto the horizon, as opposed to reacting defensively later on. And, you know, I believe we're going to have real challenges with air traffic or airlift for various reasons. You know, I actually listened to an interview with the CEO of Southwest this morning, and they're having all kinds of challenges, and they have limitations because of the bailout money that they took. Jet Suite X, I assume, you know, staff has been working with them, as Jennifer indicated, but that's a company that's in bankruptcy. You know, they filed bankruptcy in April, at the end of April. So how they're going to function is still a very big question. They've got to get a bankruptcy plan, approved, confirmed with financing behind it. So I just think there are a lot of warning signs out there. And I want us to be proactive, to have a plan if we start seeing these yellow lights flashing, whether it's in September or October, et cetera. I mean, it's great, and congratulations, Mike. And I mean it. I know how hard people are working, but booking conferences in 2024, we have a long bridge to get to 2024, as we know from a financial point of view. So those are my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Korenstein. Is there any other comments by any of the board members in regards to the staff update? All right, seeing none. All right, we will move on. We'll close this. It's not an action item. We do next on the agenda is RSCVA legal matters. And I believe we do not have any legal matters, but I will ask Ms. Kennedy and Ms. Rizak to confirm that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could just briefly, just as an FYI to the board, Emergency Directive 6, which was issued by Governor Sisolak, which is the directive that suspends the requirement that we have a public or a physical location for the public to attend meetings, expires July 31, so at the end of this month. That's subject to extension. It may be extended, pushed out another month or two. If it's not, next month we'll have a physical location for the meeting, which will likely be over at the convention center. If we do have a physical location for the meeting, just so you know, the board members are still permitted to attend telephonically or through a video conference. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up. If that doesn't get extended, we'll probably be meeting over at the convention center next month.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Ms. Rizak, did you have anything this morning?
I don't have anything. I don't have anything at this time.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rizak. All right, we will close item F2, legal counsel update, and we will move on to item G1. This is search-wide search firm update regarding the update on our CEO search process. I believe we have Mr. Gamble with us this morning. And Mr. Gamble, are you here?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Ben Kennedy here. I don't believe Mr. on the call today. So I touched base with them late last week. They had a scheduling conflict today, but essentially said they don't really have much of an update. They are in process. They're talking to candidates. They're vetting the candidates, and hope to have something more substantive within the coming weeks.
Okay, great. Mr. Chapman, you were elected as the liaison for the, do you have anything you'd like to add this morning? Mr. Chapman? Andy?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, there you go. I think Mr. Kennedy touched on that. They continue to do the outreach with potential candidates, and I did want to also express again the thanks to staff that has put together a variety of materials that Mr. Gamble and his team has been using for that outreach. So I think more will be coming forward at our next meeting.
Great, thank you. All right, seeing none, are there any comments by board members in regards to the search firm update at this time that we'd like to put on the record, or any discussion that'd like to be had? All right, I see nobody at this time, so is close that item. We will take no action on G1, and we will move to item H. This is board member comments regarding items for future meetings.
So this is Mark Sturbins. It's not really a comment for future meetings. Just wanted to commend Chairman Bob Loosley for doing a great job the past several years, really championing the RSCVA mission statement. And just great job overall. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Sturbins. I appreciate it.
Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, really quickly. First, I'd like to say I'm super excited to work with everyone. And I would ask our entire team to please reach out to me if you have great ideas or things that you guys want to implement. I just think that this is a great opportunity for all of us to work together. You know, the board is not living your lives like you guys live it every single day, you know, with tourism and, you know, our brand. And I think if you guys have some great ideas, I'd love to see them implemented. That could be even as, you know, the little things that you guys, you know, need to maybe host some, you know, cultural, you know, awareness training, or just, you know, things to bring us all together. And certainly I think that we do need a culture shift here at the RSCVA. And so I'm super excited, but it's going to start with you guys, because you guys really are the team that brings it together. And so I want to make this a great place for you guys to work and to flourish. So your ideas are important. I mean, I don't care if they come, you know, out of Robert's office in finance, or, you know, in Julie's office. I mean, wherever you guys can, you know, come to the table and have great ideas, let's hear them, let's implement them. I don't even care if you want to have a cupcake party, whatever you want to do, but we need to embrace this and really work together and, you know, continue the momentum that we've been writing. And we have a lot that is going to happen. I think, you know, 21 is going to be sort of our breakout year. It's been tough on everyone emotionally. I mean, I don't care who you are. This has been tough times, right? But I think 21, we're going to put our best foot forward and show that we're ready. And we kind of had this conversation when we had the last Zoom get together, but this is the time to lay the groundwork to hit the ground running, right? Because I think we're going to be so busy, and people are going to want to travel like nobody's business, right? Like everyone's going to be chomping at the bit to travel. So we got to be ready. We got to put, you know, the groundwork in place, but I think you guys are the ones to do it and to make it happen. So I want to say, you know, thank you so much. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you so much for all the cards and flowers that you guys sent. It means a lot. So thank you. It was very, very kind of you. So I appreciate you guys, and we're just going to kick ass. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We appreciate it. And our heartfelt condolences continue to go to you and your family at this very difficult time. So any other further comments from anybody else? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody.
Chairman Lucy?
Yes.
Miss Silver had her hand raised.
Miss Silver, Madam Vice Chair. Ms. Silver.
Sorry. Yes,
There
if
you
you
go.
can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you now.
I wanted to properly welcome Daniel Farahi to the board. It's always awkward to be a new member without much fanfare, and certainly welcoming him by Zoom is not the way we usually do it, but congratulations to Daniel on joining the board.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and very much looking forward to working with you and the entire team. Thank you for the welcome. Certainly not new to the region, but new to this team and working with you. Very excited for everything we have in front of us to come out of this very challenging time. But we're up for the task, and you know, obviously we've just made our airport CEO selection, and Darren Griffin. If you haven't had the chance to meet him yet, I hope all of you will. In short order, he is starting on August 3rd, so just a week and a half away. I think you'll all be very impressed with him. Of course, the proof will be in the pudding, as he knows well. And he knows he has a tall task in front of him to make sure we get back all the air service that we've lost through the crisis. But looking forward to working with all of you, because I enjoyed that process so much to go through our process here at the RSCVA now. So thank you again for the warm welcome.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Any other further comments this morning? I'm seeing none. All right. Well, I want to wish the new elected Madam Chairwoman Shivi and Madam Vice Chair Silver and Secretary Treasurer Mr. Sturbins all the best of luck. You are in a wonderful organization. You guys have done a wonderful job thus far as board members, and will be an amazing team as our executive leadership for this board. I look forward to serving with you guys continually. It's been an honor to serve for the last 5 years as the chair. It's been interesting, some interesting times, but I think through the most of it, we have accomplished so much in our region, and we have grown tremendously. So I look forward to that next chapter of our growth and furtherment. So thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's continued support, and I look forward to supporting everybody, the new electeds. With that, we will close board member comments regarding future meetings. We will go to comments from the floor by the public. Madam Clerk, have you received any emails during the meeting for public comment?
Mr. Lucy, we did not have any public comment recorded at the deadline of Wednesday, July 22nd at 4 p.m. We do have a caller, and I will defer to legal counsel for that.
Yep, thank you, Madam Clerk. So Directive 6, which I spoke about earlier, also exempts public agencies from taking live public comment at meetings. So it allows you alternative methods of accepting public comment. And in our agenda, we provide that citizens can send emails or leave voicemails, which get transcribed and provided to the board. It's really up to the chair's discretion whether you want to allow call-in public comment. I know some of the other local governments have had issues with meetings sort of getting hijacked or dealing with obscenities. So a lot of the local governments are not accepting live call-in public comment. It's really up to the chair's discretion whether you want to allow it. I would caution if this Directive 6 does get extended and we sort of set the precedent of allowing call-in public comment, while today it's only one, in our next meeting it could be many. So I'll tell you that we're fully open meeting law compliant by not allowing live call-in public comment and providing for public comment by email and voicemail. So with that, it's the chair's discretion whether you'd like to give the floor to the caller.
It would be my recommendation this morning that all public comment be submitted via email by the timeline or be able to be vetted via email. We do provide a process for the public to participate in our meetings, but as of right now, we will not be accepting live public comment today. So if the commenter or individual would like to submit their comment via email to the clerk, that comment will be placed on the record for this meeting and submitted to the record, but we will not take public comment this morning live. So seeing no further public comment and nothing being submitted to the floor, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. I want to thank everybody. Enjoy the remainder of your July, and we will see you all in August, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.